The uniqueness of neem, especially when it is taken along with turmeric, any kind of parasital life which is there, all these things get eliminated. It facilitates that your transmission of energy is evenly across. And once you start noticing this, then by choice you can move your energies where you want. So, the neem and turmeric together has the power to break down the sperm cells and make it into another level of energy which is called as ojas. Once every cell in the body is encapsulated in ojas, you will be a glowing human being. So in the yoga center, the day starts with a small marble-sized ball of neem and turmeric. There are many aspects to this, of what impact it has on your system. But first of all, the neem tree, which is generally all over India, they probably being grown in another 10 to 12 different geographical locations around the world, but originally, by nature, indigenous to Indian subcontinent. Is one of the most complex leaves that you can find on the planet. It is supposed to have over 150 complex chemical patterns within it. There are both health aspects, energetic aspects, and spiritual dimensions attached to this. So about health, the fundamental mistake that modern medicine systems have made is kind of absolutism about health. That this is health, this is not health. Now they tell you, your whatever chemistry, blood chemistry must be this, this and this, then you're healthy. Believe me, most of you or many of you may fit into those parameters and still not be healthy. Because health is a certain reverberance, it is not an absolutism. You may be perfectly healthy right now, in 10 minutes you may not be, if certain things happen in… Well, 10 minutes may look too much, by this evening you may not be healthy, it's possible. It's very much possible. This idea that you can define health as this is it, and you define it in chemical parameters and say this, you're healthy. No. Many things can fluctuate within the system without you being unhealthy. Or many things can be stable without you being healthy. So having said that, what the neem does to your system? Well, in more tangible terms, one immediate thing it will do is, it will keep your alimentary tract clean. When we say clean, this is a region, this whole digestive process is a region where you have maximum amount of other life. Within this alimentary tract, there are a whole host of microorganisms. Many of them have turned friendly to us. We are living because of them, we are able to digest food because of them. Many functions in the body happen because of them. But still there are many who are harmful to us. The uniqueness of neem, especially when it is taken along with turmeric, if these two things go together, largely those things which are not necessary for the body, those things which can harm the body, any kind of parasital life which is there, all these things get eliminated. A clean colon is very vital for health. If you go to see or consult any traditional doctor, like an Ayurvedic doctor or a Siddha Vaidya or Eastern medicine largely, whatever your health problem, First thing is they will purge you because they want your colon clean. For your physical and psychological health, they want your colon clean. If you just become a little more conscious about how you eat, what happens in your body, what happens in your mind can be greatly influenced. See, if you build any structure, there is a design to it. There is an architectural design. But there is also a part where the quality of the material and the execution, efficiency of execution are involved. Just because the design is great, it does not mean the building will turn out great. The quality of material that goes into the making and who makes it makes a world of difference. That goes for this also. With this, the design is perfect. It took millions and millions of years to perfect this design. The whole evolutionary process took that long to arrive at this design. But execution and the material that you use to build this is very important too. So what kind of food you put in, it's not just about your culture. Cultures might have evolved according to the survival needs of that place. Cultures in different parts of the world have evolved according to what was available in that place and survival needs, how the economies were, what was happening, what was the main form of livelihood. Accordingly, cultures evolved. Cultures are never perfect. Unfortunately, people get super identified with this and think their culture is perfect. No culture in the world is perfect because the mess that you do in this generation is tomorrow's culture. Hello? And you think you're doing this mess very consciously. No, it's just happening, isn't it? Whatever rubbish you do today, next generation picks it up or rejects it and does the reverse of it, whatever, but it is a consequence of this generation's culture which breeds the next generation of culture. So culturally what you're eating is not the point. What goes best into this system? What is this machine designed for? What kind of fuel? Knowing this is very important. So if you look at it this way, keeping the body in a certain level of balance and efficiency of digestive process, very important. How much food do you need to maintain the level of activity you wish to maintain in your life? We are talking about fuel efficiency for all our automobiles. You've seen the 1950s, fifties were a little better, 60s and 70s cars in United States. If you break down 10 cars, you could build a battleship. That's how much metal they used to build a car. Well, now they're getting sleeker and this. Why? One important aspect is that fuel efficiency. To travel a mile, how much are you consuming? Well, we're thinking ecological terms, think in terms of your health terms. That is, to process, let us say, 1 unit of energy, how much food do you have to eat means that much excessive load on the system. So, if you don't have your own sense, every day in the morning if you eat a little bit of neem and turmeric on an empty stomach and drink some maybe tepid water, it will bring that sense to you because body will respond to food in a certain way. It will tell you when it's enough. You're not able to figure it out yourself, every cell in the body will speak. Because neem and turmeric together creates a certain access to the cellular level that when you generate energy, how is it distributed? Oh, people have been asking me to speak about internal combustion engine. So how distribution of energy happens, which in an automobile is called transmission, determines how efficient a vehicle is and how much fuel it consumes to generate the same amount of power. Power in the engine is one thing, power at the wheels is another thing, completely different. Today, the top racing machines in the world are just 2.7 liter, that's a cap they've set for the Formula Ones, but they're the fastest machines. Because power at the engine and power at the wheel, the loss is very minimum. Well, we have pickup trucks here which generate 700 bhp at the engine, but what goes to the wheel is another matter. So there is something called as transmission. So what you generate in your stomach, where all does it go, to what extent does it go, is a very important aspect which in today's world people are simply not conscious of. If you want to facilitate this, well, there are yogic practices, but even to assist that, this neem and turmeric can be a tremendous process because it facilitates that your transmission of energy is evenly across. And once you start noticing this, then by choice you can move your energies where you want. When I say you can move your energies where you want, right now, if I say this, people will start imagining all kinds of things, so let me limit that. But anyway, right now I want to speak. If I have my energies focused in my throat, consciously, it may happen to a whole lot of singers and others just, by natural inclinations. But if you're consciously there, you will see your speech will have a different kind of impact. If you look at something, if you move your energies to your eyes, not that everything, the dominance is in that place, then you will see your look has a power which everybody has eyes, maybe they're 20/20. No, I'm not talking about the year. I mean to say the vision. Oh. We must be careful about using this number, huh? 20/20 means people go, so your vision may be normal, but doesn't have the same power, will not grasp the same things, will not penetrate the same way. Like this, there are various aspects. You want to do something with your hands, if you can have your energies focused in your hands, your touch will be another level of touch altogether. So, if this has to happen, first and foremost thing is, the transmission of energy in the system is smooth. Neem and turmeric as a combination on an empty stomach does wonders in this direction, wonders. So those who are doing sadhana of some kind, for them it's very important. There are other dimensions to this, that is, if we use this neem and turmeric on an empty stomach, one aspect is, it has the power to transform one dimension of energy within you to another, in the sense. In the yogic culture, this must be understood with proper perspective. The doctors say that if you consume excessive neem, it will destroy the sperm cells, which is good proof for what we have been saying for thousands of years. That is, see, there are various kinds of cells. Today, modern science is beginning to recognize how significantly different they are. What is on your skin, what is in your bone marrow, what is in your sperm, what is in your brain, these are different kinds of things, almost like another life. Though there is a common thread of information in all of them, they're very different. And what it takes for the body to generate an epithelial cell, and what it takes to generate a sperm, or what it takes to generate another cell, neurological cells, are very different level of energy involvement with the body. Well, lot of people will question this, but they will arrive at it in another 25 or 50 years' time. Yes, I'm telling you. So, one dimension of human life is… See, I want you to understand the miracle. Don't think about the sexuality of it. Just with a single cell, huh? Two, all right, but just with one single cell, you can ignite a new life which sits here like this. Is it a small thing? I'm asking. Because people are too sexually messed up in their head, they're not looking at the miracle of it. Just with one cell, just look at the way life has sprouted and what it's become. Isn't it so? We populated the whole world. We need to do something on that, that's a different matter. So, the neem and turmeric together has the power to break down the sperm cells and make it into another level of energy which is called as ojas. When every cell in your body slowly gets wrapped in ojas, if you're doing sadhana and your transmission is good and even across the body, when every cell in the body is encapsulated in ojas. When I say ojas, what is it? Show it to me. In my blood work, they said no ojas. All right, in your blood work, there's no life also, I want you to know, there's only chemistry. Nobody ever proved that you're alive, hello? You have to prove. So, ojas will encapsulate every cell. Once every cell in the body is encapsulated in ojas, you will be a glowing human being. In every aspect of that word, you will be a glowing human being, within and without, you will be like that. This is something everybody needs to work at because this is not enlightenment. This is you created a platform upon which nothing can go wrong. Body and mind are platforms. How you function on it, what kind of dance you do on it is up to you. But having a perfect platform which doesn't throw you off is important. You need to understand this body is not the end game, this body is the platform. This mind is a platform. If you make it very energetic,
what you call as my body is just a manifestation of five elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. If you know how to organize these five elements properly, if you know how to keep these five elements within yourself, then there is nothing more to life in terms of health, well-being, perception, knowing, everything, enlightenment. Everything is handled if only you know how to keep these five elements properly. The most fundamental practice in the yogic system, which is the basis of everything else that we are doing, is called as Bhuta Shuddhi. Bhuta Shuddhi means, Bhuta means Panchabhutas or the five elements. Shuddhi means to cleanse them. If you learn to cleanse the five elements in the system, that's all there is. All other yogic practices are an extract from the Panchabhuta system of yoga. If you do a certain level of cleansing for the elements, then you attain to what's called as Bhuta Shuddhi. That means you have mastery over the elements. If you have mastery over the elements, you not only have mastery over the body, over the mind, over the very creation. 72% of your body is water. If this 72% of water in your body becomes… you would be quite a wonderful person, isn't it? Yes. Another 12% is earth. If you make that sweet, 84%, very good percent. Another 6% is air. That's easy, because we can control the air and create various situations. Yogic practices are there to make the air behave in a sensible way within 90%. Another 4% is fire. You can keep the fire as it is because after all you live in a society. Burn somebody a little bit, isn't it? And you're married. So sometimes you need some firefighting. Another 6% is akash, or the space. Today, once again, phenomenal amount of research has gone into what is akash. They're talking about what's called as akashic intelligence. Your ability to sit here is simply because the akashic energy, the space, is holding you in place. So the highest intelligence in creation has been recognized as the space. It is doing things which you cannot imagine. It is throwing up creation just like that. So there is a way to treat it within you and outside of you. So knowing this, the five elements, we produced a system through which you can take charge of the five elements within. If these five elements are in your control, just whole life process is in your control. The very process of birth, living and death is 100% in your control if you take these five elements into your charge.
A simple process like this can change the fundamentals of one's life if you give yourself totally to it.
Now, Krishna was placed in Gokula in a cowherd community. Being the son of a king or a chief, now he's placed in an ordinary cowherd community and he grew up. You must have heard any number of stories about his butter and milk and all this stuff, because those were the only snacks that were there in that community. There was no chocolate cake, butter, milk. They were the main things there. So, whatever was the cream of the food available, he went for that.
Much has been said about his childhood. Innumerable songs have been written about him. The legend has lived for 3,500 years as if it's yesterday. Probably in most families, they talk about Krishna's childhood much more than the childhood of their own children or grandchildren, even today. So it is such a celebrated childhood because he just drove people into a frenzy with his simple beauty, his smiles and his flute, and the dance in his step. So Krishna very roughly, very proudly, he says, I stole butter. If I don't steal butter, there would be no zest in the village, no excitement. So he and his friends slipped into other people's homes, opened the tiles in the roof and got in. And they would be hung high up there so that the children cannot reach it. So they climbed on each other's shoulders and got it. Or when it was too high and they couldn't get it, they took a stone and… So this curd and butter, if it made a small hole, it just poured out and they drank with their open mouths. Or sometimes it cracked and the whole thing crashed down, so they gobbled it from the floor. They shared it among their friends and always there was excess, because there was just a few brave boys who will do this. Others started playing it safe. So they called the monkeys and fed the monkeys. So people… This is all very romantic, but it's like your refrigerator has been raided by your neighbor's kids. That's the reality. So some are angry, some are, heartbroken, but they were not as paranoid as people are today. Today they would get neurosis. Those women were not made that way, they got angry, it's their livelihood, it's so many things. So they complained about Krishna constantly. So when they came home to complain to his mother about what he has done, he very proudly says, I would hide behind the mother and make loving eyes at them, and they would smile. So even if they're angry, these gopi women were wonderful. You just have to make lovely eyes at them and then they will be okay. So much culture, song and music and dance is evolved around the simple pranks of Krishna and his friends. Here all this happened. One thing is because there are other aspects to his life, but one very basic thing is he was irresistibly beautiful as a man. Even as a child, people were just drawn to his physical self, the way he was. In the northern part of the country, where generally people were fair, he was dark complexioned. Bluish black color. But he was so attractive as a child that people were willing to overlook all the quite terrible pranks that he played along the way. Today it's an unfortunate reality that many people in the world, there are any number of people in the world who never even walked joyfully for 10 minutes by themselves. There are any number of people in the world where not for one moment in their whole life did they sit in front of somebody really loving them. Their whole life goes without a moment of these things happening. For such people, there is no entry into Gokula. Gokula is a place where people romped about joyfully, even doing their work. They sang, they danced, they loved. 24 hours being joyful, being loving is not out of reach for a human being. Why Krishna is such a huge factor in the cultural ethos of this country is, this is a man who romped through his life, no matter what was happening. His life went through various types of situations, right from his childhood, many extreme situations. Since he was… from the day he was born, people were trying to kill him. In his childhood, any number of assassins came
to execute him through various factors and sometimes through his superhuman capabilities. These things were warded off, but the most important factor is he went through it like a dance, joyfully, blissfully, lovingly. Wherever he was, whether he is in a battle or just about to behead his foe, there was a smile on his face. Whether he was in loving atmospheres, joyful atmospheres, terrible atmospheres, when it was necessary, he became stern. But the moment that necessity was over, in all kinds of extreme situations, he smiled and went through it. Unfortunately, people would like to see this as a divine quality. Smile is a human quality. It's not a divine quality. Human beings who have lost it have transported their joy to heaven. They have exported their joys to heaven. Only there it's possible. So, as a child, he exhibited various qualities of his own. When he was just about 3 months old, as an infant, it happens to be one of the Paurnami festivals. That means in these pastoral cultures, full moon day was always a celebration. Every day was a celebration, full moon day was a good excuse. So for the full moon day celebrations, in the afternoon itself people go to the riverside and the families gather and they're cooking, and in the evening after eating, dancing, everything happens. So all the ladies are busy cooking, so children are left here and there with somebody, this very young infant, just 3-month-old, because it's sunny, the mother, Yashoda, left Krishna under a bullock cart, a parked bullock cart for shade. He was sleeping for some time, then he woke up. Still he doesn't have the legs to move around and dance, but he wants to be there. He saw nobody was paying attention. He just kicked the wheel of the cart and the whole cart crashed down. That was the first display of his superhuman strength whenever it was necessary. Otherwise, he lived as a normal human being, going through all the strifes and struggles of any human being. But at certain moments, he exhibited certain qualities which were beyond what you can call as human. So everybody was aghast that the cart crashed and they thought the child is crushed, but nothing had happened to the child. And a few little boys who had seen this, they said, he kicked the cart, that's why it fell down. Nobody would believe it. What nonsense! A 3-month-old child, can he kick the cart? So all the adults dismissed that these children are, wild imagination. As he got little bigger, 5, 6 years of age, he got more organized. As he got more organized in his efforts, people who were losing their butter got more and more distressed. So lot of complaints started pouring to his mother, constantly people coming and complaining that your boy, please keep him at home, he's our refrigerator. So it became a little too much. So Mother Yashoda scolded him. He had his way with her. If she scolded, he knew how to cry immediately. He put his face down on the floor and just cried and bawled. just waiting for her to attend. He even goes to the extent of saying, I did get angry, but not like other people. When other people got angry, for example, when my elder brother got angry, he screamed, he stamped his foot, he got angry, he paced up and down. I could see he was wasting a lot of his energy. I did not get angry like that. I just got angry to the extent it was necessary.
It's the only culture which is still conscious that God is our making. Dissolving Him is the symbol that if you use your intellect right, you can dissolve the world. To reverse these roles is most important, because if you determine the nature of your mind, something wonderful could happen. There is a festival in the months of August and September in India. It's called Ganesh Chaturthi. It is a god with an elephant face. It was not supposed to be an elephant, it was supposed to be a ghana. Somewhere one artist made a mistake and it became an elephant. It's called Ganapati, that means the chief of ghanas. So, they will make an image of Ganesh with clay, unburnt, and then they will paint him up nicely. Some people do without paint, some people do with paint. And then they will worship him, and huge music festivals happening around him, big events. Some people build huge ones, 108 feet tall, big ones. But after that period is over, usually 1 week, 15 days, in different places, different times, then they will go and drown it in the lake or in the ocean, so that God dissolves. Create a god, create a frenzy around him, make him your entire life. For those 15 days or 1 month, there's nothing else but Ganesh. We eat what he eats, we only like what he likes, everything is about him, but then one day we'll dissolve him. Once he's dissolved, he's done. It's the only culture which is still conscious that God is our making. So, he is the symbol of intellectual activity, because he wrote great scriptures, and the sage who dictated the scriptures to him, the challenge for him from Ganesh was, he should not pause in the dictation. He must continuously speak, and he will continuously write. He said, if you pause, I won't write further. It's a test for the sage, whether what he's speaking is really a fountainhead of his being, or is it something scholarly that he makes up in his head. So Ganesh said, only uninterrupted dictation, if you do, I will write. If you pause somewhere, once I keep my pen down, I will not write again. So sage Vyasa spoke uninterrupted. It went on for months on end. Ganesh wrote without missing a single word, the best stenographer you can have. He is the symbol of human intellect. This is very symbolically right, because this is the nature of your intellect. You can use it to consciously imagine something. Wonderful imagination, a man with an elephant head. An elephant head because that's the biggest head you can find on the planet. That means lots of brain. So, the symbol of human intellect Dissolving him is the symbol that if you use your intellect right, you can dissolve the world. Dissolving the activity of your intellect is no problem. Once you dissolve the world with your imagination, switching off the imagination is not a big problem. You can obliterate the universe with your imagination. In your experience, universe will not exist if you create a powerful imagination. But then, switching off the imagination is a much simpler process. If the imagination is consciously developed, turning it off is easy. Right now, bits and pieces of imagination happening unconsciously, it looks like it's impossible to stop it. The entire festival is symbolic of this, that we create him and you must see the festivity that happens around him. Usually, he's kept in public places. In every home, it'll be kept private ones. Apart from that, on the streets, big ones, many streets will be blocked for this 15 days to 30 days, traffic stopped, everything. He will be sitting right in the middle of the street, big celebrations, music, stuff happens around it, people live around him for this period. But when the time comes, they just go dissolve him and that's about it. He's done. Next 1 year, nobody thinks about it. If you could do this full-fledged with your imagination and your intellect, oh, this mind or this activity that we call as mind, I want you to get this clearly. Your mind is not an absolute thing. It is only a certain type of activity. No activity, no mind. Yes or no? Suppose you have no thought at all right now. Do you have a mind? Oh, I have a mind, I don't have a mind. Yes, you have, because that's a thought. If there is no thought, there is no such thing as mind because it's a certain activity. Consciousness is capable of being here without the assistance of activity. Activity does not make consciousness, consciousness makes activity. I move the hand does not move me, it's me who moves the hand. Similarly, it's me who moves the mind. It's not the other way round, but it's become the other way round. The nature of your mind has become you, isn't it? All the tricky stuff that your mind does has become your quality, isn't it? Now, to reverse these roles is most important because if you determine the nature of your mind, something wonderful could happen. If your mind determines the nature of who you are, it is an accident. Is it a terrible accident or not? That situations decide, but it's an accident.